Good morning, students. Now we will start the chapter 21 of your grammar book, that is punctuation. So what is punctuation or punctuation marks? Punctuation marks help us read and understand a written passage clearly. Punctuation marks such as, what are the punctuation marks? Such as full stop, comma, quotation marks, capital letters, etc. are used in the written language. Okay. So one paragraph is written in which you have to do the following passage is given without any punctuation mark, and you have to use the correct punctuation mark wherever it is necessary. Okay. You should remember one thing, that the sentence, when you start a sentence, it should be started with a capital letter, and when it is ended, if there is a question, if you are asking a question, if you have to mark the question mark, and otherwise when it is a simple sentence or it is a declarative sentence, you will mark a full stop. Suppose first sentence, have you noticed how the weather is changing? Okay. So you are asking the question. First letter should be capital, and at the last you have to mark a question mark. Next, these days winters are not cold enough, but summers are warmer than usual. So these should be capital and are not cold enough, and after at the last you have to mark a full stop. There is less rainfall, and during monsoon, while untimely heavy rains are causing floods in places. So you will to start with the capital letter, and at the start you will mark a full stop. Okay. So now let's see what are the punctuation marks. Full stop, capital letters, comma, double inverted comma, semicolon, colon, single inverted comma, exclamation mark, interrogation mark. Firstly start with the capitalization. It means capital letter. A sentence begins with a capital letter. Proper nouns always begin with capital letter. When you start any sentence, you will have to write with a capital letter, and the proper nouns are also written with capital letters. Next is full stop. The full stop represents the longest pause. Okay, longest pause means it is used at the end of an assertive or imperative sentence. आपने कोई sentence लिखा है assertive or imperative, और last में you have to end the sentence with a full stop. Amit is a skilled mechanic. Full stop. After abbreviations and initials, M dot A dot, SP Sharma, abbreviations आप लिखते हो, then you will mark a dot or full stop, S dot P dot Sharma. But when the abbreviation ends with the final letter of the full word, we prefer to omit the full stops. Okay. Mr. MR, if you are writing the whole word Mr, then you will not mark a full stop. Okay. Comma. Next is comma. The comma indicates the shortest pause. Shortest pause जब आपको लेना है, then you will use the comma. It is used to separate 3 or more words of the same part of speech. 3 या 3 से ज़्यादा words को separate करने के लिए एक ही part of speech के nouns, verbs, adjective, adverbs. I want to buy some cakes. Now, comma, pastries, comma, sandwiches and some biscuits. These are the nouns. Aziz bath, ate, dressed and went out. These are the verbs, action verbs. You will separate it by using the comma. He is efficient, hardworking and sincere. Now these are adjectives. You will mark a comma after efficient. He lifted the precious statue gently, reverently and carefully. Adverbs. Next is to mark off phrases in apposition. Okay, 2 words or phrases referring to the same thing placed in a sentence without any connecting word. Mahatma Gandhi, comma, the father of the nation, comma, preached non-violence. Okay. महात्मा गांधी एंड द फादर ऑफ नेशन रेफर टू द सेम पर्सन, क्योंकि एक ही पर्सन की बात हो रही है. सो द फ्रेज द फादर ऑफ द नेशन इज इन अपोजिशन टू महात्मा गांधी. टू सेपरेट वर्ड्स, फ्रेजेस और क्लॉजेस, वर्ड्स को, फ्रेजेस को, क्लॉजेस को सेपरेट करने के लिए आप कॉमा यूज करते हो. द पुलिस डिड नॉट कॉमा हाउएवर कॉमा सक्सीड इन पनिशिंग हिम. ही इज comma after all comma a very intelligent boy. To avoid the repetition of a verb, किसी verb का repetition हो रहा है. Richa is an engineer and Rishi comma a technician. Okay. To separate the subordinate clause of any kind that comes before the principal clause. If it rains, the match will have to be cancelled. Okay, to separate the subordinate clause, to the आपने subordinate clause को separate किया, that comes before the principal clause. The match will have to be cancelled. Now the one exercise is given. Capitalize and insert commas and full stops in the following sentences. We will take 2 or 3 examples. He told me that he was leaving Cuttack very soon. First letter should be capital and Cuttack, and at the last Cuttack should be written with capital letter and at the last full stop. I came, comma, I saw, I conquered. Third is pleased with the taxi driver's honesty, the passenger gave him a reward. Pleased, P should be capital with the taxi driver's honesty, comma, the passenger gave him a reward. Okay. Next is he is at least in my opinion a dishonest person. First letter should be capital. At least in my opinion a dishonest person. In my opinion comma a dishonest person. You have separated 2 phrases. Next, he spoke clearly, methodically and eloquently and persuasively. He spoke clearly, comma, methodically, comma, eloquently and persuasively. Okay, so these are the adverbs that you will separate. So this is, now we move to the next part. Semicolon. Semicolon indicates a longer pause than the comma. Comma से थोड़ा longer pause लिया जाता है. It is usually followed by the conjunctions like and, but, or. Okay. To separate the clauses of a compound sentence when they contain a comma. The sweet, comma, melodious music came to a close. And there was thunderous applause. आपने clause of a compound sentence को, clause को separate किया with a semicolon. Our teacher was a simple, comma, modest, comma, unassuming person, semicolon, but we all respected him. To separate sentences which are closely connected in thought, where a full stop would denote such longer break. Reading makes a full man, semicolon, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. Okay. And at the last full stop to be marked. Colon. The colon indicates a much longer pause than the semicolon. In comparison to semicolon, it takes a much longer pause. To introduce a quotation, our teacher says, colon, hard work is the key to success. To introduce a list, there are the things, these are the things we need to take with us, colon, a torch, comma, flask of coffee, some biscuits, sandwiches and sweets. To introduce an explanation and statement or a proposition, the excuse he gave was this, colon, he had not properly understood the rules of the games. Now next is interrogation mark is used after a question. Have you completed your assignment? Question is asked, you will mark an interrogation mark. The interrogation mark is not used after An intro indirect question. It is also not used after a polite request or submission. He inquired whether I had answered all the questions. Next is exclamation mark. The exclamation mark is not used very frequently. It is used only after real exclamation. Oh dear, alas, hello, what a terrific idea. Next is inverted commas. Inverted commas or quotation mark are used to suggest direct speech, that is, to enclose the actual words of a speaker or a quotation. You can either use single or double quotation marks. In direct speech, I will see what I can do about it, she said. You will mark it in a double inverted commas. Next is some sentences we will take. What is that, father? Asked Miranda in wonder. What is that? Interrogative part. Father asked Miranda in wonder. On New Year's Day, we went on a picnic to Golconda Fort. On New Year's Day, we went on a picnic to Golconda Fort, and so on. So this is your chapter. I hope you will have understood it very well. Okay, students, thank you.